After I was reborn, I spent $13 million to secure the services of Italy's most expensive male escort. The money was well spent. He was flawless, allowing me to experience pleasure in ways I had never imagined. The following morning, while I rode him, a familiar man suddenly showed up. It was my husband, Jeffrey Della Cruz, a mafia boss. He ordered his men to drag the escort out of the room, then asked coldly,
"Where did he touch you?"
My mind was foggy, my voice languid and mocking. My lips, my bosom, my thighs. Everywhere you used to like. Rage flickered in his eyes, and veins bulged in his neck.
Cut him into 18 pieces and feed him to the dogs.
I stripped off my soaked clothes and walked into the bathroom. Do whatever you want. In my previous life, I was married to him for 7 years. I was known as the Scarlett Healer, striking with deadly precision and merciless intent. I helped him eliminate countless enemies, standing by his side as he rose from an illegitimate nobody to the most powerful figure in the underworld. But after he inherited the family empire, he became obsessed with Amelia Melendez, a nurse working in the black market. She was a gift, sent to Jeffrey's bed by a rival. She was sweet and innocent, untainted by the world's cruelty. Jeffrey took her into his private clinic, instructing her himself on medicines and syringe handling. Then one day, I found a finalized divorce agreement in his private safe. When I confronted him, he only sneered.
Amelia's too innocent for this world. Being my wife will keep her safe. You're already recognized as Mrs. Della Cruz, so why bother with the paperwork?
I burst into the clinic in a fury, slapping the syringes and medicine box out of Amelia's hands, right in front of everyone. That night, my critically ill mother was dragged out of her hospital bed. Right in front of me, they shattered her hands and threw her into an abandoned factory to be mauled by stray dogs.
Geraldine, this is what you get for messing with Amelia.
I fell to my knees, begging him to stop, but he was relentless. Mom passed out from the pain and never woke again. Suddenly, I felt a warm rush between my legs, pain tearing through my abdomen, and then everything went black. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on that day when I found out at my status change. This time, I didn't make a scene or confront him. I quietly sold all the rare herbs I had secretly collected and booked 2 plane tickets. All I wanted was to take Mom and escape this twisted world that revolved around Jeffrey. After finding the divorce papers, I went to the courthouse with my ID. "Mrs. Leonard, the system shows you're divorced," the clerk said. Hearing that, I was finally sure that my past life was real. The divorce was finalized on my birthday. That day, Jeffrey was swamped with work, as usual, so I booked the city's highest rotating restaurant and arranged for a fireworks display. I waited from sunset until way past midnight, and he never showed up. It turned out he was busy signing some papers, completely wiping me out of his life. I snapped out of my thoughts. I returned to the casino, and Jeffrey's black Mayaka was parked by the entrance. I quickly stepped aside and hid in the shadows behind a column. The car door opened, and Jeffrey got out first. He walked round to the passenger side and opened the door himself, moving with a kind of patience and care he'd never shown before. A young woman in a pale blue dress stepped out, nervous and out of place beside the luxury car. It was Amelia. Jeffrey took off his suit jacket and draped it over her thin shoulders. Then he wrapped an arm around her waist as they headed toward the casino.
Jeff.
Amelia stopped in her tracks, looking torn.
You're all I have now. I can't afford to take any chances.
Jeffrey held her closer, his voice full of confidence and tenderness I'd never heard before.
Don't be scared. From now on, you're the mistress of this place. No one dares to mess with you. If you don't like it here, I'll build you a resort somewhere quiet, just for you.
The casino staff who had offered me their obsequious devotion were now bowing to Amelia, their voices loud and fanging.
Nice to see you, Mrs. Della Cruz.
They surrounded Amelia, who looked as skittish as a frightened fawn, and walked into that flashy, evil den. Clutching my belly, I waited until they were inside, then staggered out from the shadows. Brushing away my tears, I was left with nothing but absolute resolve. I went to the hospital alone and scheduled an abortion. The doctor frowned at the ultrasound screen.
Mrs. Leonard, your body is quite delicate. You've been unable to conceive for 7 years. If you terminate this pregnancy, you might never be able to get pregnant again.
I gave a faint, bitter smile. I'm divorced. I don't want my child to be born without a father. Cold fluid seeped into my veins as the anesthesia took hold, pulling my consciousness away. In the haze, I saw flashes of the past. Jeffrey pressing his ear to my belly, smiling as his son would grow up to be a master gambler and that he would personally teach him to read cards. He had said our boy could also learn medicine from me, take over the title of the Scarlett Healer one day. He had called a fortune teller to pick the luckiest name possible. He had held me close, promising that once he found a successor, he would take me and our child away from the casino and travel the world as a family. All those tender memories had turned to dust the moment he told Amelia,
Only you deserve to be the mistress of the casino.
When I woke up, I dragged my hollow body to Mom's ward. Thankfully, this time her injuries were minor, so she would recover soon. In my past life, she had been torn apart by dogs right in front of me. This time, I wouldn't make the same mistake. I reached out to my black market tax and paid top dollar for 2 plane tickets to another country, leaving in 3 days. If I tried to leave through legal channels, Jeffrey would find out immediately. Then I called the only person I could still trust, Levi Wallace, gave him a stack of cash, and told him to arrange Mom's discharge in secret. After all that, I finally let out a sigh of relief. I hailed a taxi and gave the driver an address a few blocks away from the villa. It was a habit of mine. The casino had too many enemies, and keeping my exact location hidden was a matter of survival. But just as I stepped out of the car, a man grabbed me from behind, clamping a hand over my mouth and dragging me backward. I fought with everything I had and broke free, only to feel a sharp blade slash across my back before I could take more than 2 steps. Pain exploded through me. Warm blood soaked my clothes. I didn't need to guess to know it was one of Jeffrey's enemies. I reached for the knife hidden in my bag, but someone twisted my arm behind me. My phone was ripped away and smashed to pieces.
Stay still, bitch.
The man snarled, dragging me toward a waiting van. Just when despair was about to consume me, a familiar black Maybach turned the corner. It was Jeffrey's car. I summoned every count of strength left in me, screaming and struggling, desperate to make him notice. The car slowed just slightly. He saw me, but in the next instant, the Maybach grated past the intersection without hesitation. Through the window, I glimpsed him pulling Amelia into his arms, shielding her eyes from the scene outside. It was as if the woman being dragged away wasn't his wife, but something filthy and unworthy of her gaze. All the struggle drained out of me at once. Pain and cold swallowed me whole, and everything went dark.